Okay, good. Right here. Right here. Okay. Okay. Okay, you know, if you've been here before, we are fanaticals. We like to start on time. So it is 10:30, so we are starting on time. So today we have technical issues. Has that ever happened to you? At home, at work, on your phone? So we have no microphones. So what we get to do is really project. So sorry for front row people, because it might be a little loud. But anyway, so we're so happy to have you here. This is LT Senior Services Seminar for August. And my name is Cindy Cummings. I'm one of the founders of LT Senior Services. I forget to tell y'all, I'm a realtor. And it seems like some people forget that. I sell houses. I do this for fun. This is my passion. I love doing this. I love to help older adults in the Lake Travis area, but I also sell real estate. We have 35 members, and our members range from nonprofits to for-profits. And some of those members are here today. And so they're going to come up just real quick, 30 seconds, and just introduce themselves real quickly. Alex is the first, and she'll tell you her company name and a little bit about her business.
Good morning. I'm Alex Murphy. I'm a physical therapist, and I work with Baylor Scott and White Rehab, and we have a new in-home physical therapy program. So it's not home health, it's not nursing and OT and SPE, it's just physical therapy. It's the same on your insurance as if you were going to a clinic. We just bring physical therapy to you. So whether it's you have difficulty leaving the house, you have too many other appointments and you want to make life easier with physical therapy, or whether it's weakness, endurance, whatever it might be, we just try and make things a little bit easier and come to you. And then I have some papers in the back and my business card. So if you're interested, there's some information in the back. Thank you.
Whitney?
I know about technical issues.
Yes, you do.
Good morning, everyone. My name is Whitney Myers. I'm a personal historian specializing in legacy and tribute films. My business is called Sacred Stories. So families or individuals hire me to interview themselves or their loved ones, and we make a mini movie featuring a person's life stories. I also enjoy speaking to groups about reminiscence, story sharing, intergenerational story sharing, active listening. I'm going to be over at Belmont Lakeway this afternoon at 2:30 doing a presentation over there. And I'm proud to be a supporter of Lake Travis Senior Services, and thanks for all that y'all do for the community.
Do you have a card?
I don't. My business is Sacred Stories, sacredstoriesfilms.com. It's in the
She's also in the directory. So if you pull up a directory, there's a nice little paragraph that describes her business. Morgan.
Hi, everybody. I'm the director of the Lake Travis Community Library. I love that I know so many of you. If I don't know you, why aren't you here every day?
Yes.
We have tech help Monday through Thursday, 12 until 2, one-on-one, sit with the tech coach, get some help. We have live music, we have mahjong, we have crafts, we have book clubs. So please pick up a calendar if you're interested. I am going to give everybody one piece of homework. We need help. We have a home delivery service. If you are not able to leave your home due to a medical condition, sign up with the library and we'll drop off a bag of books and movies once a month and pick them up the next month. It can be hard to find people who need that service because they're not in the library seeing the flyer. So please, if you have friends or neighbors or loved ones, help spread the word about this home delivery service. So thank you.
Thank you.
Good morning, I'm Haley Belleville. I'm also a physical therapist and I also do mobile home visits. I have my own company. It's called At Home Telehealth PT. Started during COVID, that's why telehealth, but now I do mostly mobile visits. I have a focus in orthopedic conditions, so you're thinking about total joint replacements, rotator cuff issues, things of that nature, which if you're having surgeries, the mobile visits are a really convenient way to not burden your family members with going in and out of a clinic. But if you are interested, I have some information in the back as well. Thanks for having me.
Thank you. Okay, so we have some really fun events coming up in September. September 17th, we have our shred day. So you will come to the shred day, open up your trunk, and we get everything out of your trunk. How wonderful is that? It is a fundraiser, so we ask for donations, but we have businesses come with all their stuff. It's awesome. Also, our Aging Well Expo is September 24th. It starts at 10. And it goes from 10 to noon where we have vendors, and then from noon until about 1:30, we have lunch and the speakers, 3 different speakers. So we're excited about that. Our next seminar is September 10th, and it is called Living, Dying, and Leaving a Legacy. So it's going to be a really fun event. We're going to talk about myths that there are. So myths that there might be for financial, Whitney's going to be there too, so she's going to talk about kind of that history of the family. And we also have a geriatric care manager who will be talking about myths in that. So we're super excited about that. Let's see. I think that's it. We have, remember how we were talking about balance? One of our speakers was a doctor and he was saying how important balance was, proper balance. Well, we were able to snag a teacher to come and teach us. It's called A Matter of Balance. It's an 8-week course. It's free. And they're going to be coming October 1st. It's once a week on Tuesdays from 10 to noon at Arbor Terrace. We have just a couple spots left. If you want to be in there, come afterwards and talk to Paula. Paula's back there. By the way, Paula's our new Natalie.
Yeah.
Check out Paula. So if you're wondering where Natalie went, she is working more for me because my business is really busy. So she's unable to do all the LTSS stuff. So Paula has been in the Lakeway area for many, many years, and she has been working with nonprofits for many years. So you're going to see some new and innovative ideas. We're super excited about having Paula on the team. Okay, I think that's it. I think we're ready for our speaker. So without further ado, they're going to come up here and sit. I'm going to go ahead and introduce them. So we have Sahiba, and Sahiba's on the left, and she owns Declutter B, and she's a professional organizer, and her mission is reduce clutter and chaos causing anxiety in people. So she's awesome. She has actually helped several of my clients. One was a whole family. They just couldn't believe how it just changed the whole family dynamics. So super excited to have her here today. She was born and raised in India. She holds degrees in architecture as well as human resources. Along with being a consultant, she also plays the role of a coach. So sometimes a relationship counselor, a resource finder, money saver, money earner, a friend, a hugger, a storyteller, and a listener, all wrapped into one. Sahiba loves to volunteer and serve her community, and she's currently serving as president of NAPO. And NAPO is the National Association of Productivity and Organizing Professionals. So to have her here today is quite an honor, and she is also a member of LT Senior Services. So welcome.
Thank you. Thank you.
Next we have Jamie, and Jamie is from Tidy Your Time. And she's a dynamic productivity coach and consultant dedicated to empowering small business owners and retirees to achieve their goals by enhancing their productivity and time management skills. Love it. With a passion for helping neurodivergent individuals with ADHD, overwhelmed entrepreneurs, and retirees looking to declutter their homes and organize their paperwork. Isn't that the biggest problem we have? Oh yeah. She is committing to creating sustainable and organized lives. She's based in Pflugerville, just outside Austin, and she offers virtual consultations to assist clients near and far. Her approach centers on 4 pillars: values and needs, self-care, time templates, and distractions. She works closely with her clients, including retirees, to create personalized strategies that align with their unique challenges and goals, whether managing business tasks or tackling the accumulation of paper. She likes to provide solutions to streamline and simplify. I think, we'll just, there's more. These organized people, they know what they want to say and how they want to say it, but we'll let you divulge some more. So, our format for our panel today is, I have a list of questions that I'm gonna ask, and then they'll answer them. And then at the very end, we'll have question and answer. So that'll be our format. So we will begin. Okay, first question. I feel like we're doing like a game.
Okay. Skipping.
Okay. First question. How do I start decluttering without feeling overwhelmed?
Before I answer the question, how many of you find it difficult or are overwhelmed to get started with decluttering? Okay, thank you. So, first things first, when you are working or you think about decluttering, have a goal in mind. That is the starting point. Have a goal in mind and start with the easiest space. What can be some examples of starting with the easiest space? Think of a junk drawer or think of trash. If you just walk around your house, the trash bag or a trash bin in your hand and collect trash, because that is, you have no emotional attachment to that kind of trash, right? Because it's trash in actual terms. So you just pick it up and put it in the trash bins. That's the easiest place to start. If you start with a junk drawer, again, start with trash. What is trash in that? What is trash to you in that? So start with that. Do micro decluttering. I had put up a lot of sheets over here. 86 things to declutter on your own. That is micro decluttering. Set a timer for 10 minutes. So micro decluttering is setting timers for a very short period of time and just pick any one category in a room and just start with that. For example, headbands or hairbands. If there are loose hairbands, you're not going to be able to use them. So why keep them? That's clutter. So that is where you can get it. Those are simple tips and tricks that you can get started with. So focus on micro decluttering. Set a timer. Focus on one area at a time. Do something or listen to something that you like to listen to. I like to listen to instrumental music. A lot of people like listening to music or audible books for that matter. Library offers a lot of audio options for books. You can listen to a book while you're decluttering. TV is not something that you would want to have on while you're decluttering because it's an idiot box that will distract you very easily. Acknowledge small achievements. So how would you celebrate? Before you start decluttering, think of your end goal and how are you going to celebrate that? And do it so often, maybe 2 times a day if you're doing micro decluttering, at least twice a day, and at the same time every day. So then it is in your routine. And then you're always open to seek support. There is no shame in seeking support. You have friends, you have family members, and you saw people raise their hands. A lot of people are overwhelmed. So why not do it together?
Okay, the next question is, how can I involve my family in decluttering without causing tension?
Oh,
That's a big one.
families cause a lot of tension when it comes to decluttering. Sometimes it is us who are holding on to things, thinking my family might need it in the future. Sometimes it is family members who are holding on to things and keeping it in your house or in their own house and which they're not using. So understand what is happening. Understand and talk about it, about what do you want, what is getting in your way, what do you want to achieve. Understand how everybody works. Everybody functions very differently. If you function in a certain way, you cannot expect the other person to function exactly in the same way. So understand how you function. Set expectations, very, very clear expectations, and then figure out a schedule that will work for both of you or all of you and make it fun. I have worked with families, all family members together in a space where parents, kids are all working with me and we have assigned responsibilities. Okay, this person is going to work on dirty clothes. This person is going to work on toys. This person is going to collect all the papers in the house. So assign those roles and just make it fun. Okay, we set a timer. We get everything done together. And then figure out how you're going to celebrate together. It could be playing a board game together that you found in the house and you have not had an opportunity to play together. You can go out for coffee, you could go out for ice cream together. Yeah.
Is that it? Oh, gosh. What was the celebration together? Oh, you said go for ice cream or
Go
whatever.
for ice cream.
Yeah.
I have a lot
I
of
love
time
it.
to plan. Oh, we had this board game, we did not know.
Yeah.
So let's play this board game.
I love
That's
it.
fun.
I love it. How can I declutter if I have physical limitations?
With physical limitations, there can be very different kind of physical limitations. Sometimes you're on a wheelchair, you have walkers to walk around with. Sometimes you just have bad knees, or you don't remember where you're keeping things. It's not, it's, so start small. Understand what your body needs at this point of time. Start small, prioritize, and keep your essential items close to you, and use assistive tools like grabbers. I have a lot of clients who use grabbers because they can't bend, they just yeah, there are different kinds of issues. And you can have bins that you can carry along. There are rolling carts that you can carry along to keep the things that you need all the time right next to you. You can always enlist help. You have neighbors, if you have trash cans, you don't have to take your trash can out every day or every week and get it in every week. You can always ask your neighbors. You can enlist help from home services, different kind of home services. Donations, have donation bins ready at your disposal in different parts of the room, and enlist or book services in advance. There are a lot of organizations, non-profit organizations that like Salvation Army, Arms of Hope, Ridwell, Rehome as well, that will come and collect donation from your house. So you can always opt for them and consider right sizing. Can I have a show of hands and understand how many people know what is right sizing? Okay, so right sizing is understanding where you are right now in your life and understanding if there is a balance between the space you live in and whether it's functional for you. And understanding also there are different other variables that you bring into light is your budget, whether it is affordable, how many people are staying in the house, are you able to find your things or get to your things easily? So, and for people at different phases in life will have different needs. So if you're in your 20s and you've just started working, the right size of the house would be maybe a studio apartment. If you are just starting your family, you will buy a house in which you would want to grow into. when your kids fly the nest, that is the time you're going to think, okay, I don't want to take care of so many spaces because now it's just adding additional work for me. So maybe think of reducing the area that you live in. Yeah, right.
All right. And I know when you're talking about doing, decluttering, sometimes your boxes are up really high, or sometimes you have things in the attic. So you probably have professionals that could come and just move all the boxes down so you can get to them into a room.
Yes, definitely.
Do you use, what kind of service do you use? Cause I know there's a couple that's just where you can go online and order and they just come and do like an hour of work for you.
Okay.
Do you know?
Like TaskRabbit?
Yeah, like TaskRabbit. So you hire TaskRabbit and they come and get all your boxes off your tall shelves, everything out of your attic, and they put it all low for you. Just having somebody come and do that for you instead of you getting up on ladders and getting stuff down is really helpful.
Yes.
So sometimes I recommend that as a service.
What's the name of it?
TaskRabbit. TASK and then rabbit.
Oh, I love this question. What are some ways to prevent clutter from accumulating again? Because it seems like we expand to our space, right? So how do we stop that from happening? Do we lock the door?
That'd be nice.
Good idea.
I think the most important one from ensuring that the clutter doesn't accumulate again is to be very proactive about what's coming in and what's going out. If you're out shopping, I do that a lot with myself. My husband does that to me as well now. If I'm buying something and I pick up on something from an aisle, where is it going to go in the house? If it's going there, what's going out? So it's adopt the one in, one out rule. That means if something is coming in, something has to go out. That works very well for clothing, that if something is coming in, something has to go out, unless and until it's a supporting thing. Yes.
That's tough.
It's tough, but it's about self-care. It ends up being about self-care because then you're just holding on to a lot of stuff.
You my clothes from high school? Anybody else have clothes from high school?
I still have one sweater.
And they're back in style. If I could only fit in them.
Another thing is having daily routines, set. So 15 minutes at the end of the day, what I do, it works very well, is what is it that I would want to wake up to in the morning? If you wake up to clutter in the morning, your day is not going to go very well. And that is a proven scientific, study that if you wake up to clutter in the morning or you surrounded with clutter all the time, it wreaks havoc on your mental clarity. So ensure that before you sleep, you tidy up your house so that when you wake up, you are waking up to a tidy space. You're not waking up with stress. Oh my God, I have to take care of all of this. So have daily routines, and for everybody, a routine is going to be different. So understand what your routine should be or what works for you. Be mindful of what you're buying. Have declutter parties. Declutter parties is something I have read about and I've heard from so many people that I have also done, is we have gone into friend's house and like, okay, let's declutter. And we are all working on it together. We're getting a good time out of spending, just with chatting with friends because we're working on it together. We're having tea or coffee together and we're just having so much fun. Decluttering can be fun. So declutter parties it is, or ask people to get all your sweaters together. Let's organize all our sweaters or declutter all our sweaters. Jewelry is something that you can do. One person's gain or one person's loss is another person's gain is something that we always say. And something that you don't use, maybe the other person wants to use. So why not ask that? Also stay mindful of your sentimental items. Sometimes sentimental items can be bullies.
They can be what?
bullies.
Bully?
Yeah.
Oh my goodness.
You're holding on to things uh, that you are never going to use in the future. And it's getting in the way of just getting anywhere. It is adding to the stress that you have already have for different reasons, and they can be bullies. Clothes can be real big bullies. I have had to talk to so many people and help them understand. Oh, but I plan to lose some weight, so I am going to fit into this particular pair of jeans someday. And so I have to talk to people about, and that's a very, very common phenomenon. And our bodies change every day. However, if you're working going from a size 20 to even a 16, which is sounds more achievable, but do you have a date set, a timeline set for that? If you don't have a timeline set for that, you can always let go of this and buy a new pair of jeans, because you are, again, like you said, fashion keeps changing.
Well, it comes back, so that's why we keep it. The bell bottoms, right? How many people stubbed a toe on their bell bottoms?
I would like to add something if I may. One thing I coach my clients for is when you're trying to decide if you're going to get rid of something, set a price threshold. Like if it's a $10 item and you can easily purchase a $10 item, maybe this $10 item that you might need someday can go away now, and then you can purchase it when you really need it. So just think of this kind of price level, what you're willing to repurchase later, and that can help get rid of some clutter.
I think if you put a price on it too, when I'm working with people and they're moving, and I say, look at that box, it's not the cost of the box. Yeah, there's a cost to the box and the stuffing, the stuff you put in it, you have to pay a mover, you have to unpack it, you have to find room for it. So just think about a box costing you 25 bucks. Look in the box, is it worth 25 bucks? No, just let it go then.
Yeah.
So that's kind of, when we're moving, and normally we're downsizing, right, from a bigger home to a smaller home. And if you have to get another room for your stuff, just to put your stuff in, that's a problem too. So
Yeah,
those are some financial things to
Because
think
they
about.
are spending more money
Yeah.
to add another room. That's why she said, we help you save that money and earn money.
Save that money, go buy something new.
Yes.
All right, but take out something.
Or add an experience, use that money to do it.
There you go.
For an experience,
That's
go for
right.
a cruise.
Yes.
Cruises don't add.
Okay, this is an interesting one. We talk a lot about this all throughout the year. Are there any specific tips for decluttering a lifetime's worth of memorabilia and keepsakes? And oftentimes they're not just ours, it's our parents. Other people have given us all their pictures, you feel bad. So help us out. It's the big one.
This is a very, very difficult topic or work that we as professional organizers do with our clients, because it's about figuring out what to keep and what not to keep. And a lot of times, my first question is, whom will it go to after you? Right? Who's going to take care of it? Your kids going to take care of it? Do your kids want it? No, they don't. A lot of times they don't. Because right now, for example, recipes. Sometimes kids will want it. A lot of times, kids will just find it online, because everything is online, and that's how we want it, by like this. That's how we find it, because if you're going to find things, that you're not going to go into a recipe card or book looking for recipes. I like to talk about something known as the container concept. This term was coined by an author, Dana K. White. She talks about the container concept as, for example, if you have clothes and you have a chest of drawers. So that chest of drawers is your container. Everything, and you have designated whatever fits into it. For example, socks, or you have a drawer full of socks. Now, this is the container, how many ever socks fit into it is that many you keep, the rest you let go.
Hmm.
So you choose the ones you like, you are very, very fond of, you are very comfortable in, and you know this is the sock that I will always reach out to every time I want to wear socks. So it's just a very simple example, and that this particular container concept you can apply to everything, including memorabilia, keepsakes, books, everything. So that limits the quantity of the things that you keep. So you can keep everything, all your memorabilia in displays, memory boxes. You can always digitize them. You can always think of the reason you keep the memorabilia. Why do you keep it? If you're keeping it to save a memory, you can always record it. You can always reach out to Whitney. She'll help you record, your memories. That's what she does, and she does it very well. She will. Why are you keeping those memories? Is it just for yourself or is it to pass it on? If you're doing it to pass it on, I remember when I was younger, I would ask my grandmother about every different kind of story she had in her thoughts, and I would ask her, why do you have this? What is the, story behind this? We like to learn the stories. How do you learn the stories? You record it, just pass it on. So you don't have to hold on to that piece of item. You can talk about it, record it, and let it go. That is one thing, one way. Involve your family members. Again, stories is another thing. Repurpose. A lot of times, a lot of things can be repurposed, especially clothes that you don't fit into, or you have school jerseys. They can always be repurposed into bags. There are so many people who make bags. There are so many videos where you can do that yourself. Quilts can be made into wall hangings, paper, table mats into cushions. Lots of things can be done with so many. It can be repurposed in different ways. Yeah.
What's the revisit?
Revisit is once you have gone through everything, I would say keep revisiting your memorabilia and think about whether you now, maybe after a year or so, then you revisit and think about, okay, now I have this, what else can I let go? Or what else makes me happy, or it doesn't make me happy and so on.
With clients, I do this with all ages. It started with my son when he was 3. We did something called the hibernation box. So if there's something you're really having a hard time letting go of, you don't really need it, you can put it in a box and set a time limit, say 3 months, 6 months, whatever that time limit is for you. If you need that item, you can go get it. It's still there. But if you don't need it after the set amount of time, you can donate it. So that kind of helps you to realize that you don't need everything. You have some sort of attachment, but it lessens over time. And I also want to say, my father-in-law, he passed a few months ago, and they went to my husband and his brother went to help their stepmother kind of clear everything out, and everything was very organized, but his father had saved all of his report cards, all of the kids' report cards, like every newspaper, like all of this stuff, and nobody had any idea. So when you're thinking about decluttering, think about the future and who's going to be going through this, and if you really want them to handle that task.
So what did you do with all that?
They threw it away.
They just threw it away?
Yeah,
They didn't scan it?
no. They didn't want to.
Well, good thing he wasn't there. It's
I know.
broken. Broken.
Yeah, they took what they wanted and the rest just got shredded and sent away.
As you can tell, I need help. Okay, onward. So, okay, we have, how do you organize medicine? Where does that come in?
That's
Oh.
it. We're
it's come-
working on self-care.
Oh, great, okay, great.
So, yeah.
So what are some ways to avoid procrastination when there's no urgent deadline?
Do y'all fall into that habit? Yeah, yeah. There's a, start simple, you know, this has been on almost every slide. My mother-in-law, she told me when she retired that she wouldn't need me as a productivity consultant because she had all the time in the world. I'm here to tell you, you may have all the time in the world, but when you have that, it can be overwhelming what you actually want to do with that time.
Right.
So if you don't have a plan, you may wind up sitting watching Netflix or staring out a window, things like that. So, start simple and make your deadlines, create your own deadlines. They're arbitrary. Yes, you can change them, but it will kind of light a fire under you to try and meet that deadline. Start with baby steps. If you're thinking about a big project that needs to be done, maybe it is decluttering your home. Think about the different spots, kind of like Sahiba was saying, starting with a junk drawer, using categories to declutter and just write down a little list of what the project entails. And then you can assign deadlines to those little tasks, those micro tasks to keep you motivated and going. Sahiba also talked about using a timer. This is great when you're working on a project you don't really want to work on. What I tell my clients is if you're really dreading working on something, set a timer for 5 minutes, 10 minutes, whatever that amount of time is for you, and start working on it. And then when the timer goes off, if you still don't feel like working on it more, stop. You know, at this stage, you don't necessarily have to stress yourself out with getting things done. So be lenient with yourself, understand that your energy ebbs and flows, and that you're not always going to be able to take on an entire project in a day, but if you break it up day by day, it might be a little easier. Accountability partners, this is huge with anybody who has ADHD. It's called body doubling. This is where you work together. You may not actually be working on the same things, but you have a friend and come over and maybe you're sorting through your mail or getting ready to pay bills, and the friend is going through a box of clothing. So it's helpful to have partners when you're trying to get stuff done, especially if you don't really feel like doing it. Daily, weekly routine. I kind of don't like the word routine anymore. One of my clients came up with daily rhythm, like really following your energy and knowing when your peak times are, and setting a schedule that doesn't even have to be followed every day. Just listing things that you like to do in the morning, things you like to do in the afternoon. And then when you're like, I don't know what to do, you have this list of things that you can refer to jog your memory and hopefully start a task. And then when I'm really tired and out of it and just can't focus or think, my favorite thing to do is take a walk, do a little chair yoga, because I rarely get up from my desk. So I'll do chair yoga, and that usually re-energizes me and gets me back into motion.
Could I add something?
Sure.
So does anybody play Scrabble or any kind of game on your phone? What I'll do is let's say I have to work for an hour and then I can play for 10 minutes.
Oh, that's fabulous.
So I'm like, okay, I got 10 more minutes on whatever task it is, because they're addictive, these phone games, you know? So that's just a fun thing that I do.
And if any of you have like an Apple phone or an Android phone, you can help yourself by setting time limits for those games. So, because it can be really hard. Yes, you've done all the work and you're rewarding yourself, but I know when I need to spend 10 minutes on something, I will spend an hour and a half. So
Very easy to lose track of time when you're on your phone. And so I agree. I always have a timer I get addicted. I'm addicted to Facebook. So I have a timer on my phone. There are so many apps, free apps that you can use. Set a timer for 15 minutes. I can use the app only for 10 to 15 minutes at a time. And then I have to go back to whatever I was doing. And then maybe come at a later time when that app lets me use.
After you do another hour of
Yes.
work.
Yeah.
Yes, I love it.
At least.
Okay, how can I create a daily routine that includes time for relaxation, self-care, and community activities?
So this comes back to rhythms, routines, really, I like for people to make a list of self-care activities, whether that's social, physical, emotional. So that you can then start to piece these things into your day. And I have people create what I call a time template. And that's a way where you block out certain areas of time during the day when you're going to focus on specific tasks. Again, this is a template and templates are meant to be changed. So if you don't complete all the tasks, don't give yourself a hard time. That's okay. Really scheduling hobbies and leisure. When I do my weekly review, I do this every Sunday. I make sure I have time to connect with friends. I make sure I have time to connect with colleagues. I schedule it into my calendar. Social and community activities, and then scheduling self-care activities like healthy meals. Setting aside a time during the week to decide what you're gonna eat for the next week or the next few days, getting a grocery list together. These are all things you can schedule time for. And then I forget a lot. I'm ADHD and I forget a lot of things. So I'm always relying on this time template I've created for myself to remind me to eat lunch. To remind me to shower. I need a lot of things. So it's always helpful to have that list to help guide you.
Okay, so what are some strategies for setting and achieving personal goals in retirement?
So who here knows their core values and needs? Oh, yay, I love that. I love that. This is, so finding your core values and needs can be a quick process. Some people may need to think about it longer, but it's basically deciding what you value, things like maybe the environment or helping nonprofits, where needs tend to change based on your environment. Like you need a certain amount of sleep. You need to have a coat when it's cold outside. For me, my needs, like I need a sense of ease. If things aren't going to happen easily, then I get really frustrated. I need humor. If I'm not laughing, then something's wrong. So figure out what your core needs and values are. There are lots of, on the internet, there are lots of quizzes and words you can look at for values and needs, and you just look at them and you pick them out. You may start with 10, and then you kind of wean it down to maybe 3 to 6 items that you're really passionate about and that you really need. And that's going to help you determine the type of self-care you need. So if somebody is telling you, oh, you should do this, really think about your values and needs. Is it a should, or is it something you want to do? If it's a should do, that means you don't necessarily want to do it. You're just meeting other people's expectations. So always have your own expectations in mind and relate things back to what your core values and needs are. Setting short measurable goals. So again, with short measurable goals, it's kind of what we talked about earlier with breaking the big projects down into smaller projects. I actually have clients assign their values and needs to their task list. So laundry. I really dislike laundry. I used one of Sahiba's tips and now I can do laundry because I listen to music, put on essential oils and set the lighting just right, and suddenly I can do laundry. So, it's, so short measurable goals, it's when you. Sorry, I keep getting lost. So don't think all big picture, break it all down. Short tasks, yes. So you can take a rest after and then get back to it. There's a book called Eat That Frog. I don't know if any of you have heard of it. It's a productivity book. And it's all about doing your worst task first, the one you're dreading the most, to get it out of the way. And then the rest of the day, you can focus on the things you really enjoy. There's also one called, there's a saying, you have to eat the elephant bite by bite. It's so weird. And I probably didn't say it quite right, but it's instead of that huge elephant, you've got to take it piece by piece. Consistency over perfection. I found out I was a perfectionist about 6 months ago. I had no idea. And perfectionism can slow you down. It's if you're making sure everything is placed just right, if you're working on a document and the fonts have to be just right, or the pictures you're taking of family have to be just right. It's done is usually better than perfect. You don't want to spend a whole bunch of time where something was totally acceptable, but you've let anxiety and fear kind of creep into your mind that it's not going to be good enough. It is good enough. Support and accountability, we've talked about, and then set new goals after achieving old goals. I think this is really important. Usually people are setting goals in January. That's our arbitrary time to say, this is the start of the new year. This is what I'm gonna do. Today is always a great day to start, but don't make so many goals that you can't achieve them. Like I used to have like 10 to 15 goals for the year, and I wasn't meeting any of them. When I went to 3 goals for a 3-month period, suddenly I'm meeting my goals and I'm making progress and moving forward. So really think about the number of goals you're setting. You can create a list of goals that you want to reach eventually, so you don't forget about them. I call that the parking lot list. It's for another time. And that will really help you see progress faster.
Love this. How do I organize my medicine?
How many of you, by a show of hands, have medicines in their bathrooms? So medicines have to be stored in cool and dry places, and so that they don't spoil easily. So medicines, places where you can store medicines are kitchens, living rooms, bedroom. You can have it in the dining room, because a lot of times you have medicines right after your meals. That's where you can place it. You can also place it on rolling storage carts. I have those 3-tiered storage carts that roll around the entire house that go everywhere. If I'm taking medication, or if I'm on a medication, it'll go with me. Or place medication. For example, there are medicines that you have to have in the morning, right? When you get up. So then that's when you keep it right next to your table or bedside table. You can organize your medication. At least first know what medication you're going to take or you need to take. Have a written down medication schedule and the dosage amount that you need to be taking every day. Talk to your pharmacist or your doctor or your caregiver if you can simplify that medication regimen. That you don't have to, maybe some medication has the ingredients of the other medication. Is that working or not? So simplify that regimen. There is always a possibility. You can use pill organizers. You don't always have to keep your pills in boxes or the bottles, the yellow bottles that you get in. You can organize them in pill organizers. So my father does this for both my mom and him, that he will have a pill organizer. One is for her, one is for himself. And every Sunday or at the beginning of a month, he'll put all the pills for daily use in the pill organizer. So there are various kinds of pill organizers and they make it for different purposes. If you're taking taking medication only one time a day or twice a day or thrice a day, even 4 times a day, there are different kinds of pill organizers. And I recently found out there are pill organizers with reminders built into them. So that's very interesting. So you can use pill organizers. You can always carry them around in your bags as well. And have reminder systems. I wear a watch like this every day, and it reminds me, I forget to have water. So it reminds me every 2 hours that I have to have water. Similarly, you will have mobile phone reminders. You will have different kind of reminders that you will know what works for you. So have those reminders, have those visual reminders. I also keep some kind of supplements right next to my coffee pot because that is what I would want to put in my coffee and have it. So it's right next to my coffee pot. It's a visual reminder, oh, this, I have to put this in my coffee and have my coffee after that. So that's an interesting way to keep reminding yourself that you have to have medication and this is where it is. Yeah.
Can I add something?
Yes, please.
Yes, so I am a breast cancer survivor and I had so many medications. I'm luckily getting off a lot of them and I really disliked pill sorting. Like it would make me cry because it was so tedious and I was so mad that I had to take these drugs. So I enlisted my friends. I had a friend create a playlist for me. So I knew how long it was gonna take, and I knew at the last song, I was almost done sorting the pills, and it made it more fun for me. When you are pre-sorting, be very aware of how your medications may change. So for me, sorting out a month didn't work because my medications changed so much. So it's more dangerous to unsort, like you might get the pill in the wrong bottle, and that could be really scary. So really think about how much your medication changes and how far out you can sort. And talk to your doctor. I think we mentioned that there are places where you can get your pills pre-sorted in little bags from pharmacies. So when you have to take your AM pills, they're all in this little pouch already sorted for you.
Yes.
Okay.
Okay, then what do you do with medicine that is expired or not used anymore?
Yes, we all have a lot of those medicines expired. So I'm going to talk about two parts, it in two parts. There are do's and there are don'ts. What are the don'ts first is do not flush medicine down the toilet. Do not drain it down the in the sink. And do not trash your medication. It is illegal or criminal to be doing that because medicine can land up in the water system and it could be very harmful for others who do not need that medication. What you can do is there are pharmacy drop-off kiosks. So if you go to CVS and go to the end where you have to go and pick up your medication, it is at CVS, Walgreens, Randall's. They all have a kiosk where you can just lift and put your medication. Sometimes some kiosks are not functioning and it will say it is not operational. But if you go the next time, and I've had this experience at the same CVS, that sometimes it's closed because people have not emptied it. But a lot of times they work. So you have options of going to different places that I mentioned, and you can drop it off there. There are a lot of community or DEA drug take back programs. I checked the Lakeway website, which is by the government of Lakeway. And they usually have programs. I know Leander has, a lot of places have, all cities have their own drug take back programs. So keep your eyes open, go ahead.
Well, I just want to mention the Lakeway Police Department, that you can go anytime now.
Oh, nice.
Yes.
Yeah,
Nice.
yeah, just go to that front door.
Yes. The other thing that you can't trash easily is syringes and any kind of pointy stuff, especially diabetes syringes or any other medication syringes is something that you cannot drop off at kiosks. That is where, when you go to the police department or even to the fire department, and you can drop off all those things off. So they'll be happy to take care of it. I have read about this, I haven't experienced it, but there are prepaid mailback envelopes which are provided by pharmacies, that can be used to mail back all the expired or unused medication. And the last, and it's the last resort kind of a thing, which was, this is a lot of times, a lot of people tell me, oh, but this is not okay. It is published on the DEA website. Take a takeout box, which has a lid to it. Put all the medication, expired medication in it. Mix it with coffee grounds, and or cat litter, used cat litter, because nobody likes smelly used cat litter, or is going to consume it, and mix it up, and then you can trash it.
Wash your hands after.
Yes. Yeah, and the bottles which remain, always be mindful of taking out the labels, because it has your information on it. You don't want it to go into the wrong hands. And the bottles can be recycled and dropped off at your local SPCA. Ask them, they always need pill bottles.
Excuse me. The SPCA, if you have trouble taking the label off, use a hairdryer.
Yes,
The label,
I like that.
and it will peel off.
Yes.
Nice.
What does the SPCA do with the bottles?
They, when they are taking care of their own, animals, they need bottles, because there is an in-house medical expert for pets. So they will dispense medicine only for sometimes. A lot of times, there are fosters, because they're fostering, a lot of people who are outside the shelter are fostering, and they need medication all the time. So they can put fresh labels on that bottle and give it to them.
Okay, we're gonna save questions to the end if that's okay.
Okay.
Okay, so paper management. How long should I keep important documents like tax returns, medical records, and
Yes.
bills?
Yes, so,
Oh, and I have a question before you start.
Sure.
Can we send out these slides to everybody who has attended?
absolutely.
Okay, so guys, don't worry about writing all this down. We'll send all this to you afterwards, in an email.
So things to keep forever are identifying items like your social security card, your birth certificate, wills and living wills,
Passports.
passports, all the things that personally identify you that you may need to prove who you are, you want to keep. Tax records, 3 to 7 years is the standard. I will say, before you throw anything away that has to do with taxes, talk to your lawyer, talk to your bookkeeper, talk to your accountant, because this information could be outdated any day. So always double check with somebody who really is knowledgeable about changing laws and things like that. Bills. I recommend keeping, if you want to keep bills, I rely a lot on them being online, but if you want to print out or you're getting paper bills, keep them for the year, and then you can pull them at the end of the year. If there are any disputes on anything that are unresolved, you want to keep that type of paperwork. I know a lot of medical papers come through the homes from insurance and doctors, those explanation of benefits. Do I keep those? If you need to like kind of, what's the word I'm looking for? Compare or audit your health insurance. But the important thing about those explanation of benefits is you don't just throw them away. You need to shred them because again, people are using your information to use your insurance. So if you don't shred them or there's a roller that you can use to hide your personal information. And you can also buy shredding scissors. If you don't have a shredder at home, there are things called shredding scissors and you just cut everything up. I highly recommend a shredder, but scissors will do if you don't have that much.
And then you can always get all those papers on 17th for the shed day.
Yes, good job.
You can what?
You can always get your papers, collect your papers and get it to the shred day.
Yeah.
Well, this seems so easy, but why does it feel so hard?
It's because you know why it feels so hard is because paper, when you have to make a decision about each piece. Like, and when you're decluttering some objects in your home, you can categorize them and decide whether you're going to keep that whole category. With papers, it literally is going through each piece and making a decision. So, I talked about this a little bit already, how to dispose of sensitive information. There's the shredded home, as well as there being shred dates with different nonprofits, like the one coming up. You can also go to UPS or Office Depot. They have lock boxes that you can put your information into and then they'll shred them. If there's something that you want to absolutely make sure has been shredded, you can call specific shredding companies and ask for a certificate of destruction. So you know that it's been done. And I would recommend that for things if you have like old hard drives or cell phones or things like that, that you don't want information taken out of, you can do that. All right, so now we're on to digital solutions for managing and storing important documents. This is like my favorite part of the puzzle is where do you store it all? So there are digital vaults. You can go to trustworthy.com and they have a whole system of getting your important papers together, getting them digitized and being able to share with family or anybody who's assisting you. You could share with your lawyer, you could share with your accountant. So that's a great option. Good Trust and EaseNet, those are other options. Password protected Excel sheets, you can use that. So you could use password protected Excel sheets for just about anything. You can document you could document your passwords in your password protected Excel sheet. You can make a list of what banks you have, because that's really important after you pass. Everybody needs to know where to go to close out accounts. You list credit cards that you might have, because again, people need to know to close those accounts so there aren't people trying to steal your identity. Really important is anybody using digital backups? Does anybody use computers or digital filing systems? Yeah. I want to remind everybody who is using those that saving to Google Drive or to OneNote or Dropbox is not a backup. It's a form of a backup, but you really want your information backed up at least 2, if not 3 separate times. Because Google went down one day and I couldn't access anything. So I learned real quick to get all my information from Google and put it on a hard drive. So, and I also recommend if you have family out of town, that you give them access to those digital files in case something happens at your home. Like if there's a natural disaster, if we have another freeze like we had a few years ago, you want to make sure that all this information is accessible, even if something has happened to your backup at home. Scanners, oh, I love scanners. Easy Snap is my favorite scanner. That's if you want to digitize a lot of paper. And the reason I bring up digitizing paper is because it's clutter that can take up a lot of space in your home that you don't necessarily need to access every day. So if you have a whole bunch you want to digitize, then I highly recommend a scanner. If it's just a little bit of stuff that you want to take a picture of and save, you can use your smartphone for that. All the smartphones now have a scanner on their camera. So that makes it easy. And then external hard drives, not my favorite because they always seem to break on me, but I do have one and I cross my fingers that it will work when I need it. And then system for managing incoming mail and bills. Oh my goodness, how many people get way too much mail? Yes, yes. So there are sites you can go to get off mailing list. To stop the credit card advertisements and stop catalogs from coming. That's a really great thing to do like once a year in order to clean things up. Now, I personally, and a lot of my clients don't have time every day to actually sort the mail that's come in and take action on it. So what I have people do is create an active file box. And there's also the Sunday basket. So I'll give you both options. I don't like the Sunday basket, but I'll tell you about it. The Sunday basket is any paperwork that comes in, you put it in a basket, and on Sunday, you sort through it and take action on what you can take action on. You put it on your calendar, things like that. The active file box has a little bit more structure. So if you could keep your most recent bills in there, like the statements for the electric, for the water. And you don't have to open it at the time. You can put it in a slot for mail to be opened or bills to be paid. And then, yes, once a week or maybe more often, you go through and you open that mail and put it in its proper place in the file box. I like that because you're dealing with a little bit at a time. You're not stuck with this pile that says hi on Sunday of all the mail you haven't been able to sort through. I also suggest having a recycling box or a shredder nearby where you do sort your mail and paper. So those actions can easily be taken. You can throw into the recycling, you can shred the paper right then. That gives you less to sort through at the end of the week or midweek, whenever you want to. Another great way to minimize incoming paper is to do online bill pay. Have your statements come to you through email. You can still print them out if you want to, or you can save them to a digital file. See, I told you I have ADHD. I just lose my train of thought. I love everything. Thank you for bearing with me. So you can, we're shredding at the time, we're recycling at the time. And then what was my point, Sahiba? I had
Digital. Were you going digital?
Yeah, automatic billing. I think that was it. That's another great way to get out of the papers coming in. So, yeah, I'll leave it at that. And a consistent routine, make a day. Find a day that you want to do this, that seems easy for you to do it, and try and do it the same day every week. It will build up your habit. It will become muscle memory, and it will be easier each time. So what steps can you take to ensure important documents are easily accessible? Active file box is a great way. You can have insurance policies in there, so they're easily accessible when you need them. There's Knockbox, which I'll let Sahiba talk a little bit about, because she actually got to talk to the owner of the company, I think.
Yes,
Yeah.
they were at the neighbor summit,
Summit.
and they were talking about a grab and go box where you can put all your immediate, easy to reach, accessible papers. That could be for your family, and they have dividers, so I have some paper, like some discount coupons with me if anybody is interested in taking any. Yeah, so they're a physical box, literally, it's not digital.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And that's great to, you can also consider a fireproof box. I like Knockbox because it already prompts you for the categories. You can also find that information online. I mean, you need your wills, you need your insurance policies, any medical records that are of importance. It's really important to have a list of emergency contacts in with that paperwork in case something does happen to you, your family knows, or somebody who comes in and notices there's a problem, they'll know who to contact. So only tell people you trust where this information is. You know, I hate to be so pessimistic about the world, but you know, people are doing all kinds of weird things these days. So just share this information with the people you trust and who are going to be accessing it. And never give personal information over the phone unless you know you are connected to the right person, to the right company. I had a friend that I accidentally sent into the hacker's arms when I gave her Facebook support. It was a nightmare. She connected to hackers and they were taking all of her information. We got it fixed, but just make sure when you're doing a search online for a phone number, or somebody calls you and starts asking for your social security number or the secret code that just got sent to you for a company, don't give it to them. You can hang up and then call back the institution to make sure you're really on with the right people. Digital storage. Again, I usually set things like this up for clients in a cloud service that we back up. And it's just folders of the different documents, so they're easy to find. We'll categorize them and put them in the right folder. It's just like having a physical filing cabinet, except you might forget about it sometimes because it's not seen. So you gotta have a visual reminder that your stuff is in there. But it's the same as filing paper. You categorize paper. You categorize everything. You create your main categories, write them down, and then you can create your folders where everything goes.
So when you talk about this grab and go folder or your bin, it kind of makes me think of my bank safe deposit box.
Yes.
So should you keep your documents in the bank's safe deposit box, but have copies of it in this grab and go?
I would suggest that.
Okay.
Yes.
And then also, if you have a safe deposit box, make sure that you have somebody who's signed on so they can get in there, because that has happened before. When somebody's passed away, but they hadn't given any access to anybody to be able to go and get everything out of the safe deposit box.
That's a great point.
So now we're at the question and answer
Okay,
point.
great.
I think you're done with your slides.
Yeah.
So if you want to ask a question, because we don't have a microphone, I'm not walking around, just stand up and just project, ask your question, and then they will answer. We have about 30 people on our webinar right
Oh,
now.
wow.
And
Hi,
they're listening to us. So we want to be able to project. So ma'am, go
I
ahead.
have one.
Okay.
When you talked about EOBs and credit card information, what is the obligation of the insurer or the credit card? Because I'm gonna be honest, I rely quite a lot on, I've had a lot of medical bills this year. There have been issues with my insurance company and my medical providers. What is the obligation of the insurance company to maintain those EOBs? How long? And likewise, the credit card company, my American Express, but how long do they maintain records of my,
It's gonna vary depending on the company.
there's no legal?
I don't think there's any legal, like doctor's offices.
No, I'm talking about the insurers, the EOBs.
Yeah, I honestly don't know the answer to that question. I assume they have a time limit, but the explanation of benefits. I assume they have a time limit where they'll start removing stuff. But I don't know what that is.
And likewise, you don't know on the credit
On-
cards either.
No.
I think they're all different. I
Yeah.
tend to do my taxes a little late. And so sometimes I can't get into older statements. And so, yeah,
Yeah.
I think they're, and
It's
different,
a-
every credit card's kind of different. so.
Yeah.
Outside their expertise, perhaps. Yes. Okay, stand up if you have a question. Just yell it out.
Yell it out?
Well, loud enough for our people at home to hear you.
Okay. Earlier you mentioned taking the labels off of the prescription bottles with a,
Hair dryer.
I didn't know that, but I do take a black Sharpie
Yes.
and scratch everything out. Is that sufficient? Or can they get beyond that? Because I don't take the labels off. I just make it black. all
So
over before.
that can be done. It can be done because we have a label hide out roller that we had talked about earlier, where you can
So
just
that's
black it out.
Sharpie. And I use the big, thick, heavy one.
Yeah, I
Sometimes you can still see.
see
Yeah,
through it. That's
yeah.
why I'm hesitating. Sometimes you can still see through this roller. Let me grab it real quick.
So if you can do it, however, people who want to get information, they can just put it up against the light and they can still read whatever they want.
Well, I do it up and down and then back and forth and then circle.
I'm just gonna do a show and tell real quick. You can see how this one, you see how it has printed on it, so it kind of scrambles what's underneath. So
Where do you get them?
you can get these at the container store, you can get them on
They say
that the fire
department might also take, drugs. No?
I don't know what the actual
I don't
name
know.
is.
It's called
Yeah.
But she did say
the police
department.
Somebody back here. said- Okay, we do have a question from online. The question is, can you use the thumb drives for your backup? Would you recommend using a thumb drive for your backup?
You're welcome. You can, yeah, absolutely. It really depends on how much information you have. You might have to get, I think they have them up to like 1 terabyte now. So
Yeah.
it's, you don't necessarily need a hard drive. You can use a thumb drive. Those can corrupt too sometimes. So you really do, if you're gonna use thumb drives, maybe do 3 thumb drives. So you have that redundancy.
Yes, again, you can give your thumb drives to your trusted individuals so that they also have a backup and it's with them. It's like giving a key to your house to your family member.
We had another question about medicine and drop off. So you can go to the Lakewood Police Department. Do they have a little kiosk?
When I went, they actually came out and got it, but the
Okay.
thing is, you can, I think you can go onto their website and see what kind of items they'll take, because a
Okay.
lot of places won't take liquids.
Oh,
They
You know,
do.
I know Randall's Pharmacy won't take liquids, they have it on the box, so the best thing to do is to contact them first, or go to the website.
great. We have a question up here.
Yeah. What do you suggest for photos? How to sort through them and save them without those big books that I have, boxes of big albums?
Albums.
I feel your pain.
So in my experience, taking photos out of those albums can sometimes ruin the photo. So you have to be very careful with that. That might be a good use of a hair dryer too, to like get that sticky back warmed up. I would test it on something you're not necessarily wanting to keep first. Instead of the albums, there are photo boxes. And it's like a little filing system, and you can do it chronologically, you can do it by family member, by occasion. The Container Store has a really nifty one that is, it's a big box with smaller individual boxes inside, so it takes up less storage.
The other way, if I can.
Yeah, sure.
Is digitizing your photos. I have all of 2 small booklets of photos, the rest are all digitized, and there is such a great invention called a digital photo frame that you can put up on your, anywhere on the wall, and they are different sizes. They used to be really small, now they are bigger, and we have photos from our childhood that keep flashing by all day long, because then it makes us think, oh, then we actually get to see the photos. You don't
Yes.
have to open the photo album every time. So you just see and you go, oh, do you remember that day? Do you remember that day? My husband is telling me about his childhood all the time. This was when this happened. So we're talking about those stories. That is what photos are for.
And another thing to add, go ahead,
Well, just how do you get your photos digitalized?
scanners.
There are a lot of organizations out there. There is a company called Memory Forward, which is in North Austin. They will literally come to your house, pick up all the photo albums and digitize them for you in different formats, in whatever format you want. And they can do that they also convert VHS tapes, they'll do anything. This is just one local company that I'm talking about. There are more in Austin and there are more online, and you can mail them your photos and they'll do what you want.
And what was the name of that company?
It's called Memory Forward.
Memory Forward.
And I sent all my, what are they now? DVDs?
Uh-huh.
No, not DVDs.
VHS.
Tapes, all my tapes.
Oh.
And got them all done. It was $1,000, but it was the best expense ever because I had like, I don't know, 5 huge boxes of them. And so now we have everything digitized and I've sent them to my kids and they'll send me videos back from different things that they get to see. So they get to see them all the time. I know $1,000 sounds like a lot of money, but it was just bugging me. I was just like, this is just bugging me.
Now you can see
But now you
that.
can see them.
Kids these days don't want pictures, they want
No,
it
it's
electronically.
digitized. It's digitized, so they can just go in and look. He can watch all his football games, you know, do whatever he wants, and mom doesn't have all the boxes. So it is very freeing, but it's also nerve wracking, because if you send everything off someplace to have it processed, your stomach hurts.
Yes.
You know, because there's so many things that could happen from here to there, so.
I do want to give one more point on that. If you're using your phone for most pictures, you can have them stored in Google Photos. And a lot of people may be using this because it will automatically find faces and you can search for a particular family member. You can type in a holiday and it will pull up all the pictures from those holidays. The warning I give people is when you store in Google Photos, you have to make sure that it degrades the digital image. Unless you hit a checkbox that says keep original quality. And this is important in case you ever want to print something. So just be aware of that if you're kind of digitally organizing on your own with Google Photos.
Carly?
There's sometimes these storage photo people don't give you a guarantee of how long they can retain a photo. So you need to get their warranty or their guarantee. There are
Right.
several out there that are very popular that they don't have long term, like 100 years. I'm serious.
Yeah, no,
Lifetime only.
yeah, yeah, that's good to know. Sir?
Any suggestions on how to break a hoarder complex? I collect books. I have 4,000 of them in my garage and it's driving my wife crazy. And I mean, but I buy 50 books a week at estate sales.
Uh-huh.
And I'm just going, I'm now have rented a storage unit to put the books in.
Okay.
And it's kind of an addiction, but I don't know what to do with all these books. The library can't take but a handful at a time. So, do you have a suggestion on how to store books? Books are taking over my home.
To store books, well, you need to have them in a cool, dry place. I mean, number one, because you don't want mold or anything like that.
They're in my garage and in storage units.
Yeah,
They're on shelves. I've got, I can fill, I've got shelves.
are they in containers on shelves? No, they're just,
They're books on shelves.
okay.
It's very great of you to admit this, because I think we all have something we hoard. It seems like books is a very good thing to hoard. It's very, educational, and I know that there are some nonprofits that will actually come and box up the boxes and then they ship them to third world countries. So yes, and I have to think about who that was, but because they don't have books in some of these countries and they get money and they box it up. Can you imagine how expensive that is to send books to a third world country? But can you imagine how you're impacting other people? Are you ready to give it up? I know, I'm gonna have to think. We'll send it out in the email.
There is another program called the Prison Book Program. I used to volunteer with them, and I have donated a lot of books for my clients. I have donated several of my books because prisoners will send letters to this program and they'll say, this is what my interest is. And we will select books from all the books that you have donated, which is apt for that person or that prisoner, and we'll ship it to them. So that is another good way or reason to donate your books or let go of books. I think here the container concept would work very well because you're just expanding your containers. Your garage is a container, so you've expanded because now it doesn't fit into your garage. You got a storage container, right? So you're adding more containers. You're paying more for it. So think about just containing in one space. You can buy. If you love reading books like I do, I listen to all my books, and they're all from the library, so they're literally free every day. But I also love books, and I sometimes like to buy books, but I have a bookshelf that is my container. If anything goes, if I buy too many books and they don't fit in it, I take out books that I'm not going to read, or I don't have an emotional attachment to anymore.
Also, I saw a hoarding show on somebody who was a book hoarder, and they had books on their second story house, and it made the house weak. And I think the house collapsed. So it's good that you have everything in the garage because you're on concrete. I'm just trying to point out the positives of this. Our time has ended, so we are done, but I did want to let you know that you're going to get a questionnaire via email. It's really important for us to know what you thought about our talks, our speakers, our content, the length, and then you can also tell us about future seminars that you would like. And if you have additional questions, you can come up here, but that is it for today. We're gonna take a picture.
I found the website to give books to Third Nation.
Oh, hold on. She found a website to give books to a third world country.
It's called Third Nations. It's a charity organization that's set up to provide books for countries like Nigeria, Malawi, and all of that. And the website is books for Third Nations.
Wow.
Looks third name.
And they pay for it. They come, they pack, and they pay.
Wow.
Yeah. All right, guys, thank you so much. We'll see you next time. So just basically just follow.